And we're live on the Jeff Meacham Network and across social media with One-on-One with Jeff Meacham. And going one-on-one with yours truly today is somebody I was very privileged to meet out in Las Vegas just a little over 2 weeks ago, celebrating my 39th birthday. Anyway, she is the general manager of the soon-to premiere Ultimate Women of Wrestling. They'll be premiering out in Las Vegas in May on the 21st, I believe. Is that correct, Jenny?
May 21st. Yes, it's a Saturday.
Jenni Santana, welcome to the Jeff Meacham Network. It was complete happenstance that we got to interact. Full credit to my father. God bless him. I'm in the can at the convention, just, taking care of business. And he happened to walk over to, they kind of like put you in the corner. It feels like they just kind of like stuck you over there and just kind of like, okay, here, you go over here. And my dad happened to cross you, saw the name and went, I know that name in wrestling. Why do I know that name in wrestling? Found out who your father is, and we'll get to that in a little bit. And he said, here's her card. I said, what are you talking about? He said, she wants to do an interview. I said, oh, okay. And here we are. So welcome. Glad to have you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it kind of like shoved in the corner. So, but it was good. We were like against the wall. We got to rest and take naps while people were doing other stuff. So
I was noticing the chairs in that room, unless you were William Daniels and his wife, were kind of like kind of were what they were. So good thing you had the wall for further back support.
Yeah, it was one of those things. It wasn't too bad. It was only like 4 hours too, I think. So
that's the cool thing about that convention. Like it was over 2 days, but that particular segment was just one day. I originally was going out there to see Vic Mignogna from the Anime World and Star Trek Continues and everything. Happened to find out Lita was going to be like, okay, well, there's a work thing. Cool. I can go actually get some work accomplished too. Gave her my business card. And then just kind of evolved. Sabu was over there and we found you in the corner over there. It kind of completely snowballed into this. Oh, cool. But I actually got some stuff done instead of just drinking and being a fool for my birthday. Awesome. So it worked out wonderfully.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely counting down now because as of that birthday, that means after WrestleMania next year, I'll be turning 40. So WrestleMania 39 will be part of my extended celebration. And hopefully I won't, they won't have to bury me under the stadium in Inglewood to end my situation. Cause turning 40, but anyway, so for those of you that don't know who I'm talking about when it comes to her father, Jenni is actually the daughter of WWE Hall of Famer, one of my favorite, like underrated, I guess is the best way I can describe Tito, because like he is in the Hall of Fame, multiple time tag champion, multiple intercontinental champion, but he kind of flies under that radar for the Attitude Era and beyond fan because he wasn't there other than being on a commentary headset when Austin happened, when The Rock happened, when all those people were doing their thing, but he was very much part of the Hulk Hogan golden era. So I have always loved Tito, and I have the utmost respect for him and everything that he accomplished. And, growing up, he was as big a part of WrestleMania as anybody when I was watching. So I was so tickled to find out about the connection and the fact that you're in the business. I think that's really cool. So very, very, very neat.
Yeah. And I think he was in like almost all of the he's one of the ones that have been in the most WrestleManias out there. I do know that.
Yeah. He was definitely in the first 9. Well, definitely 8. I think he may have been a dark match at 9, but he was definitely at the first 8. He was actually in the very first, if I remember right, the very first WrestleMania match. So that's pretty big. The first guy out the gate on closed circuit is Tito Santana. So that was pretty cool. So
yeah, so I haven't been in it that long actually.
I was kind of trying to do a little bit of research and see. Yeah, I know you've been doing wrestling for a little while, but you've been involved in competition stuff for quite a while. So
yeah, so my background is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've been doing that for a number of years. I'm a brown belt now, so I've been competing in that for a long time. At brown belt, I won the nationals. I won Nogi World, so that I'm kind of coming into it from not training as a pro wrestler, getting to be a pro wrestler, but training as another martial artist and then doing the crossover.
Yeah. So that means if being a general manager, if you get out of hand for real, you can definitely kick their ass anyway. So that's good to know. Just you don't let the girls get out of hand. And I was looking at the roster both at the event we were at and as I'm going along here. There are a lot of people on this roster that I'm familiar with that I've worked with in my 20 years of doing this podcasting and doing different indie events. And that's really cool that you've got such a diverse group of people lined up. I am definitely looking for, like I was telling you off air, I was contemplating going to Vegas for the AEW event, but it's like, now I want to go to this one whenever the venue gets finalized and I's dotted and T's crossed and everything. So, I mean, we've got you there. We've got Eva Lise, who's been, in and out of the mainstream consciousness for a long time. Shaw Guerrero, who I finally got to meet on the Jericho Cruise in October, and we all know who Shaw's connected to, both her mom and her dad. I love both of them to pieces. I've actually had a chance to work with Vicky a couple times. She's a little crazy, but I love Vicky. Christina Von Eerie, who, if you worked indie wrestling in Southern California, Christina Von Eerie is one of your favorite people. I love Christina. I'm so glad you got her lined up. And just there's a whole bunch of different ladies that are going to be part of this, and I'm super excited for it. So
yeah, so you will love. I wish that I could tell you where it's at, but probably it'll be like tomorrow or the next day, and you'll be like, "Dang, we missed it by like 48 hours." But it's a beautiful casino. It's a major casino on the Strip. So
nice.
I mean, there's already people who have booked their rooms for that time to come to this show. Like for sure, the show will be sold out. Everyone is so excited for it. Like you said, we have women of all ethnicities, sizes, ages, experiences,
which
the
I love.
characters. It's just women celebrating women, like these beautiful women, these empowered women. You're going to see their beauty. You're going to see their strength. You're going to see characters that are, if you looked at our logo, it's sugar and nice and violence and spice. You're going to see the entire spectrum. Like there's going to be sweet little angels in the ring, and then there's going to be people that we all wish we could just give a slap or so too. But it's going to be a super entertaining event from start to finish.
So I have a funny story. We'll get into it later about one of the ladies on the cruise with you, and I'll just say it involves Ashley D'Ambrose. We met on the Jericho cruise kind of by accident, but it really wasn't her I met. It was her sister, and her sister basically saved my life on the Jericho cruise. We'll go ahead and get it. I'll leave that as a cliffhanger for later. It was long 4 days and no water, just not a happy time for me. It's toward the end of the cruise. But so how does one go from, like you said, you've been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you've got your father who's been in the business. Was it something that this was the opportunity that came up, or you got to be involved in this company, or what are you have you been doing the indies and just this was an opportunity that presented itself, or where was the transition from one to the other?
So when I started, I was actually going to do an interview with the Hannibal TV for my jiu-jitsu. And then I just happened to mention like who my biological father was. And he's like, have you ever tried wrestling? And I was like, no, I've never tried pro wrestling. And so he hooked me up and gave me some connections with a trainer out near me. We started that off. I actually did one match with World Pro Class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then the training that I was getting, I don't know, I switched trainers, and my trainer now is Sin Bodhi, so I'm at FSW, which is amazing. It's an amazing school. That's where Maserati started. They just had a show, and I met Christina Von Eerie there because she was on it. So they bring in amazing talent, and then they start. They have a kids class, and some of the wrestlers there have come up through the kids class, and so it's just a great environment, and there's so many amazing teachers over there. There's a class with Cody, who's Cutthroat Cody. I've taken. I've taken. I do privates with Sin, but I also have taken his class, and they're just everyone there is so willing to help you and learn, and everyone's eager to learn. So.
Nice.
There's no like attitudes where people think, that they know better. And because you got to take something away from everyone, because everyone
really do.
Yeah.
It's one of those where if you go in there thinking you don't have to learn anything, then you're not going to. And that's completely the wrong approach to that. I love Sin. I haven't had a chance to work with him yet, unfortunately, but I got to meet, he did a meet and greet. God, it was forever ago. He came out here with the cat, same day that Mick Foley, everybody was at Frankenson's out in the San Bernardino area, and just he was awesome. I saw that everybody and their mother was at his wedding recently, so that looked like a hell of a good time. So
It
I'm
was
jealous
so
I wasn't there.
yeah, it's funny, like, because I know when I first had actually I think Jeff Cobb, I'm friends with him, and he when I
Oh,
was
okay, wow,
switching
jeez.
trainers, he suggested Sin. And so then I had messaged him. And so I only had saw his like Facebook and social media. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's like super scary clown guy. I don't know what to expect. And then like I go in and meet him, and he's like the nicest,
He's the
gentlest
sweetest
soul.
dude. I know.
Yeah, only after a few months, like I'm then going to his wedding, and like I'm just so honored to, him. He trains me so well, but then to like for him to include me in his personal life and something
Right.
so, so momentous for him. Like it was such an honor to meet his wife and just be a part of that. The wedding and the situation. So it was very kind. So yes, you can't judge a book by its cover because he's like
No, no, because like when I met him, he was just recently no longer Kazarni, so he could have been, jaded about the business and it was the complete opposite. Such a sweet dude. Everybody there was super nice. It was really a good experience meeting him, and I'm so glad he's part of that. I'm glad you're part of that. You were with training at FSW. I hear nothing but amazing things about FSW. I just haven't had a chance to get out there to see it because whenever I'm in Vegas, it's always a quick, like I'm doing something where I got to haul ass, turn my back around and come here to California again. So I've had a
yeah.
chance to just plop down and just stay. And when I did have a chance to stay out there, it was like I was in Henderson, not in Vegas. So I couldn't get back over to Vegas proper. So definitely on my bucket list to, when I go out there in May is to go check those guys out.
Yeah, I just did a show. Like it was my first debut batch there, and they do shows with all the students, so it's kind of like less stress and less pressure,
Nice.
because they put on amazing shows, and so but they do them pretty often, but then they do some that are just the students, so it's kind of you kind of expect it's a learning experience. I will say that, like the whole thing is a learning experience. So
That's definitely good. I
it,
noticed that WPC does that too. Like they'll have shows, but it'll be just the other trainees and maybe a couple of trainers like in the audience there just to kind of give feedback. And that I've all the schools I've been able to observe. I haven't been a part of a school yet because I'm just not that. I'm not going to be doing the combat thing. That's not my forte. That's why I have my phone in my hand. But I've always been impressed with the respect that goes into running the wrestling school, be it FSW. I got to see the Santinos run their shows a couple times. They do amazing things out here. Just the schools are so important, and I think people are more aware how important they are now than they were, back, especially when your father was wrestling, because there was no knowledge of that stuff. Everything was very kayfabe back then. But as the business has, some would say progressed, some would say devolved, depending on who you ask. But there's more knowledge of it, and I think it's better. And I think, at least I do anyway. I have more of a respect for what goes into it because I know how much goes into it, and I think that's definitely been helpful for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's an artwork. It's an artwork. You are a sports entertainer, so you can have all the physicality and strength, everything, and then you can like it in the ring. You need a whole package to be a great professional wrestler, and you need to be a sports entertainer. And so doing those matches, like I've been on the mats doing jujitsu, like the athletics, I got that. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
can take care of myself. But then like switching it over, and now I am performing in a sense while I'm like athletically performing. That is a big change. It's a big change, and you have to get used
Different.
to it, and you have to do it more to get used to it and practice it and get feedback. I watch a lot of tape in training, watching other people, but it's not the same as watching yourself, because then you can see exactly what you did, what you shouldn't have did, what you could do better. And I think that's a really good way to improve yourself.
It's funny in talking with Dallas Page over the years, because I was doing the DDPY program, of course, getting to meet people like Scott and Jake and everything. He's been lauded or ha-ha'd at for being one of the first people to tape everything. Like he would always tape his stuff and watch your back to do like what you said, get feedback on your own. your own product and your own presentation, and that is vital too. If you can't have the opportunity to critique your own stuff, you're not going to see what's wrong with you or right with you and take the steps to, okay, well, this is wrong, so let's tweak this. This is perfect, leave it where it is. And I am the worst at that. I'll tell you, because I can't watch myself. Once this is over, it's going to be on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. I'm probably never going to watch it again because I can't watch myself. Like I'll have to like block myself out of the screen. Like, hey, you can't see. Let's do Jenni's voice, and we'll go ahead and do that because I can't watch. It drives me crazy to watch myself talk. And despite belief the contrary, I don't like listening to myself talk either. So it's very that's a cool quality that wrestlers I noticed have, that they can watch themselves do promos, wrestle, do everything, because I can't. I'm a horrible self-critiquer, the worst ever. So
Yeah, I think you definitely need to be a self-critiquer, but also be able to take, constructive criticism.
right.
Because if you can't, then you're never going to grow. I just had this conversation yesterday with someone. Like, there's, some wrestlers, and I haven't been in the business that long, so I don't know. But the person I was talking to has, and so that experience, they've said, there's been wrestlers, especially like indie wrestlers, that train for a year, they start getting matches, and then they never train again. And I was like,
Ugh,
I don't understand that. Like, I don't know how you can grow. And even if you feel you're somewhere, like someone else is training and they're going to surpass you by very far, very quickly. So that's
exactly.
the same with jujitsu. Like, if I got to a certain point and then I felt like I never had to train again, and then I went to compete, like, it would almost be a joke. So it's the same thing with wrestling. If you stop training and stop learning, I don't see how you would ever get better.
It's one of those. It's like a life thing too. It's like if you stop learning and stop growing, be it in life as a person, whatever, then you're not becoming better, becoming different, getting a different perspective. How do you expect to get through life, let alone wrestling, any job, anything? So I've never understood the mindset of, well, I trained for a year, so now I know every damn thing. It's like, nah, Bubba, you don't, not really, but okay. Never got that. So
Uh,
I wanted to ask you, so how did this company come to evolve? Like, okay, so was it something that you were the person, you were the mind behind the mayhem, or was it something that kind of came together collaboratively with different people, or what was the evolution of UWW?
No, it definitely was a collaboration of other people. There's a few business people. It's definitely, we're trying to portray the women, the women are in charge. There's other business partners who are females. Uh, but the thing is, it just kind of fell in my lap, I guess, like by luck, and I became a part of it. And I was like, this is, and the timing was right too. Like, it was a great time. We've all, we went through COVID and things
Ugh,
stopped. A
yes,
lot of stuff stopped, and so a lot of things kind of fell and lost the momentum that they were gaining and things like that. So now that things are opening back up, I mean, this is a perfect time to get something like this off the ground. Like, this is a very special product. It's a great time. Like, women are empowered at the moment, like, this is
love it.
just perfect. So it was a good fit for me. And I had the opportunity, I could have, been a wrestler, been general manager. Like, I was like, oh, for sure, like, general manager all the way, like, I am sure eventually, there might be some things in the ring that happen. And there's a lot of, like you said, that roster, there's a lot of personalities on there. So it is going to be very interesting to see what unfolds between if girls kind of form alliances, or if their personalities clash. And I got to be, I don't want to say in the middle of all that, but like, I got to handle all that. So that's going to be a really tough job to keep control of. So we shall see how that goes.
Being the boss in any environment is never never the most ideal, unless you're completely 100% like, yeah, I got this. Being a boss of an all-female wrestling company, God bless you and Godspeed, because I actually had the opportunity when I was in my, let's see, so just after my son was born. So within the last decade, actually toward the end of the previous decade, so like 2008 through 2000, I'll say 10 or so. I was on the creative team with a women's company called let's see, World Independent Ladies Division, Wild Wrestling. So, and I enjoyed that thoroughly. Just the money didn't stay happening, so we had to fold. But like I said, there's a lot of people on your roster that we were going to work with that we had lined up. So I'm trying everything I can because I got to be in Vegas on 21st, wherever you're going to be. And I want to say it here in front of everybody right now. I'm gonna try to talk to her off air. I'm saying it publicly. I formally, verbally sign an NDA. I will not disclose the venue if I find out before the rest of you do. I want to find out. I'm curious. So there it is. If I say it out loud anywhere else but here, feel free to sue me. Okay, there we go. Okay, because I love Vegas so much. I enjoy getting out there, and it's not like it's this long excursion. It's 4 hours up the freeway, and it's wonderful for being in SoCal, and that's what's great. Vegas has a lot of close things where it's like if you're California, if you're in Arizona, if you're in the area, it's not like it's oh my God, you're going to travel a friggin' day like a WrestleMania thing where you're going to be, traveling across the country, across the world, and basically there for a week. You go into Vegas, you got the wrestling, you've got sports, you've got, gambling, entertainment. There's something to do. You were trying to tell me off air, if I stay for both shows, you get a week. It's like, yeah, but I get a week to spend in Vegas. That's not a happy situation for my wallet, but I'll have a good time.
Vegas, there's literally something to do for everyone. Now we have the Raiders, we've got the hockey with the Vegas Golden Knights, there's collegiate teams out here.
Yes.
Vegas is a great place because one, it's super popular. It's the entertainment capital of the world. So flights pretty much from anywhere to Vegas are a little bit cheaper than going to like a place where the airport's, far away. Yes. And so
LA's awful. Oh, and our airport sucks. I hate LAX. McCarran is so easy. Oh my God.
Great. And it's right in the middle of everything. Yep. Like I grew up in Pennsylvania and we used to have to fly into Philly and then drive an hour and 15 minutes home. Like it's horrible. And, then move to Vegas and you fly into Vegas and you're home in 15 minutes flat, no matter where you are in the city practically. And so it's just the convenience of the airport is amazing. The hospitality of Las Vegas is great. Yeah. And then, Las Vegas is the fight capital of the world. So that, it makes sense to bring fighting to Las Vegas. We're not going to be a bunch of showgirls out there. We're going to be athletes, but like, who doesn't love a group of females performing? So
exactly, especially in Vegas. There you go. So let me kind of going away from UW for just 1 second. Being a Vegas resident now, is it crazy to think that last year WWE did SummerSlam the same night as the Pacquiao fight, which was literally next door pretty much. This time they're bringing Money in the Bank the same day as UFC, and their main event versus WWE start time is maybe an hour off. Like I don't drive in Vegas for that very reason, because that's going to be a traffic, pardon the French here, traffic clusterfuck. It's going to be horrible because Dad and I went to SummerSlam. We parked at Mandalay for the stadium because I don't know who built that stadium, but the parking is just horrible. There's nowhere to park.
It's complicated.
Hopefully wherever you guys are going to be, the parking's better because yikes. But I am looking forward to it. We're definitely going to have you back on as we get closer to May 21st. I definitely want to have you on. I have that Thursday before all slotted, the 19th. That way for you, whoever you want to bring from the roster, I can have up to 10 people on here. So you want to bring half the roster on here, by all means, we'll bring everybody in. I definitely want to get as much promotion in this because this almost feels like almost a hometown promotion because it's so close and it's something I have such a fondness for and have been advocate for my entire podcasting career, and part of my creative career was women's wrestling, because for the longest time, women's wrestling did not get the love and respect that it should have. And even now it's starting to kind of like fall back a little bit on the big national stage. AEW is the exception. AEW is kicking major ass on that front. And God bless Britt and Rosa after last night. Those two were crazy. But I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, seeing old friends I haven't seen in forever at UWW, and meeting new people. I was wonderful to meet you. I was so glad we got to interact. And my story about the cruise is, so I noticed on your roster is Ashley D'Amos, who of course is part of AEW's she kind of rotates in and out of there. So on the cruise, I was on the cruise for the cruise went 4 days this last time, Thursday through Sunday. And in addition to just me being on vacation and doing my thing, I was also helping out with a band on the cruise who is a all-female Guns N' Roses tribute band called Paradise Kitty. They've been out to Vegas a few times now. They performed over at Vance, Danny's club, and part of my running around was I didn't really stop and rest for a few minutes. So I was up pretty much Friday morning onward, and Sunday, the last day of the cruise, I was running around on pool deck getting ready to finally get to watch a Jericho Judas entrance, which I was totally marking out for. I was so excited about that, and I noticed a young lady at poolside looking at me like I was about ready to keel over and die. This is actually Ashley's sister, Sarah.
Oh.
And I swear they're twins. I don't know if they are, but I swear they are.
It looks like her.
And part of my being up for 4 days was because this guy, freaking Will Ospreay, was doing karaoke each night. So we were out till 3, 4, 5 o'clock each night, every morning. And I went to bed after Orange Cassidy one night, didn't go to sleep because he was out throwing craps all night. So Sarah, God love her, sees me, like she can see in my eyes that I'm swaying, that I'm not going to be long for this world if I don't get. She hands me 4 huge, like this size bottles of spring water. She goes, drink this. You're going to get dehydrated and freaking die. So thank God for Ashley and Sarah and everybody being there, because they might have carried me off that boat.
She did not pull any punches. She was like, "You might get sick. No, you're gonna die."
Yeah, she just here, please. And like I immediately went back to my cabin. And I had her on Facebook. I said, "Thank you, God, for you being there," because, like I said, she literally saved my life.
After it, then
what's that?
Did you feel better after you drank the water?
Like I had that first bottle of water. It was like I was having the holy water dumped over me at a baptism. I was like, "Oh my God!" And what was really funny is, whole cruise doesn't rain. Not a drop. We heard it was going to come in. But we managed to avoid it the entire route. As we're heading back to Miami, it starts. It's like, oh geez. So it delayed Fozzy starting, and it delayed the wrestling starting before then. So we had a tarp literally over the ring until, God, I want to say it was like 7:30, and I had to book it back across the ship at 8:30 to go set up for the band. Jericho didn't come out until 8:29 for his tag match. And I'm like, I just want to see the entrance. So they did the Judas entrance. It was him and Orange Cassidy. So they did like a hybrid entrance thing. I filmed it, was an idiot doing the selfie thing, and then I ran. Again, thank God for the 4 bottles of spring water, because I had to run my giant ass across the ship. So again, to that family, I thank you for existing, because you saved my butt. And I'm looking forward to seeing her and everybody else in Vegas. Is there anything you can tell us as far as time? I know it's Saturday, May 21st, so we know that much.
Yeah, I don't know if we have a time yet. I don't want to say a time, but I mean, sometime in the evening. It's not going to be a daytime show. It's going to be an evening show.
Okay.
It's gonna you're gonna love the casino that it's in.
I swear, as soon as she tells me that I can say it on the Jeff Meacham Network on the Pro, I swear I'll tell everybody. I promise.
Yes.
But,
I mean, this is the first time that, I've been in Vegas since 04, I believe. And, there's never been a show like this. So the uniqueness of it, WWE comes to town once a year, twice a year.
Right.
AEW is going to be here. But to have like, I don't want to say residency because we're not there, but like eventually, that's the goal. And we could be the biggest show on the strip. Like that's our goal. Like we want Vegas and UWW. Like they're going to be synonymous. Like that's it. You're going to know about this show, and it's going to be the biggest thing, and everyone's going to love to come see it. Whether they have to be, whether they have to fly in or if they're locals, it's going to be for everyone. So it's just going to be a great time.
It's funny you mentioned like being there, not permanently, but maybe semi-permanently, where we met each other at the Plaza. Champion Wrestling from Hollywood used to run there, because I told Marquez we were running the Plaza. He goes, "Oh, really?" So it's because I found out later that where they had the United Wrestling Network was like, so where we were on the convention though, that little bitty little hall there that was off to the right off the elevator, that's where they had the wrestling guys. The ring, everything was in that little bitty space. I'm like,
oh gosh.
Yeah, I'd have been pissed too. So yeah,
well,
I can imagine being upset at that.
I mean, not only when you guys learn where it is, but like where in the casino itself it is.
Oh lordy.
You know, if you are a fan of Vegas or know anything about Vegas, you will 100% geek out about it because it's crazy the history that is involved in that one room.
There you go. So we have a question in the chat room from one of our Bill Patterson. What separates this promotion? What separates Ultimate Women of Wrestling from all the other promotions? Now, remember, not only first of all, I can tell you it's an all women's promotion, which is unique, especially on the West Coast. West Coast doesn't get a whole lot of women's centric wrestling, which I think is cool that you guys are doing that. But what else, Jenny?
We are gonna focus on combining like the nitty gritty, like UFC side. You know, we are gonna be performers, but it's gonna be, you know, athletic, and there's gonna be fighting in the ring, and it's, you know, it's gonna be. I don't want to say it's gonna be a shoot, but it's gonna be definitely more realistic and athletic fighter type as opposed to, you know, the normal sports entertainment wrestling. So
that's on.
I
And
can
you know, Bill, if you came in late, you have a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the helm. So, you know, there's going to be some serious combat techniques thrown in there. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I mean, we're in Vegas. It is the fight capital of the world, so we have to do it right. Like we can't make this promotion and, you know, willy-nilly it. Like it's got to be done right. It's, you know, the personalities and the athleticism, it's going to just come together and create something for everyone. And there's so many different personality types. Like I can see people, you know, having their favorite athlete, and, you know, they would probably be willing to travel across the country just to come see them perform. And then with everyone else, it's just the added bonus.
If I get to see people that I'm seeing on this roster on a regular basis, you'll definitely have me out there. If you guys are out there once a month, you'll definitely have me in Vegas visiting once a month, because I want to give it all the coverage. Of course, like I said, we'll have you on, you know, in a couple of weeks to talk more about it as we get the venue announced. And definitely, like I said, that last Thursday, right before the show, you and everybody you want to come on is welcome to come back on and give the full court press about here's what's going on in 2 days. So we'll definitely have you back on.
And then like other things, like stuff we're planning for people attending, like it's different. It's not, I can't say anything else yet because I'm like bound, but you know, I could literally list like 5 unique things about this promotion. They just can't come out yet, but people will not be disappointed. They're going to leave feeling like they saw a show. They're going to get stuff to go home. You know what I mean? There's going to be merchandise and unique merchandise that's for sale. So that alone, you know, is going to be unique to UWW. So we're so excited. It's like a little kid at Christmas. Like it's just
right?
It's so overwhelming. Like there's so much to say that I want to, you know, let out, but we can't yet. And you will not be disappointed. You know, we're trying to, I would say for sure, please follow our Instagram page because that has the most up-to-date information. The rosters have been being put out there. That page started and it was like one post, and then we announced the general manager, and then we started building a roster and we had like 3 people, and now we have an entire roster of women who, you know, some have been wrestling for years and they're veterans in the business, and then we have some wrestlers who are coming in and they're new and they're gonna learn as they go, and it's gonna be a great mix of talent.
I had to find it.
Thank you.
As long as I go here.
Experience.
Lordy, yeah. I mean, there's so much amazing talent. You guys just announced yesterday. I'm gonna butcher her name a couple days ago. Zeta Zhang, is that how you say your last name? I know who she is. I've seen her. I just can't say her name to save my life.
Yeah, I would probably butcher her name too. You know, there's Santana Garrett's on there, Christy Janes. Like it's just.
If you're an NWA fan, Genocide's on this roster, who has been majorly promoted on NWA Power and their pay-per-views, so definitely she'll be there. Lady Tapa, who was in Impact Wrestling, she's also a second generation wrestler. So, you know, she, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure she wrestled your dad at a WrestleMania or one of the mega pay-per-views, the Barbarian. So it's, you know, there's history there. So there you go.
Something
So
else
much.
unique. I mean, it's by women for women. There's going to be women, you know, the Guerrero, she is the announcer. So from like start to finish, you're going to see women. The referees are women. Like this is not just, oh, it's all women. And then, you know, there's men doing everything else. Like this is all women. It's a production run by women. The women are the performers. You're going to see, you know, it's a female empowerment, and we're going to knock it out of the park.
Like I said, I can't wait. I'm definitely going to do everything I can to get out there on May 21st. Stay tuned to us here at the Jeff Meacham Network. We'll have as much information I can extract out of her without getting herself in legal trouble. But we'll definitely have her back on in April, and definitely back here on May 19th for the full preview of the event and everything you need to know about where they're going to be, where you need to stay, what tickets are going to cost, all that jazz. And that's coming up on the 19th of May for us. But you can find everything, again, at ultimatewomenofwrestling.com and, of course, at Instagram, UWW Fed. Very, very simple. If you can't do 6 letters on Instagram, you clearly have not enough time for anything else. So just go ahead and, yeah. So it's just one of those things. Thank you, Jenni, so much. I really appreciate it.
Wrestling.com. So
yeah, let me go ahead and boop, there it is. ultimatewomenwrestling.com.
Yes.
Boom. There it is. Jenni, we will definitely we'll talk off air when I sign off here. And Bill, and the guy that asked the question, Bill Patterson, says the all women staff definitely separates you guys. Can't wait. Thanks. Bill, again, get out to Vegas in May, brother. We'll definitely it's the week before Double or Nothing, if that helps your planning brain at all. So there you go.
And please follow the Instagram page because we're actually giving away 2 tickets, a trip, the flight included, the room included to the first show. So we will give, once we can announce it, we'll give details on how you can enter that. But one of them is you definitely have to follow our Instagram page. So
got to do that. This is where the information is. Again, she's the information provider. Jenni, thank you so much. Again, we'll talk off air in just a second. Thank you all for watching the Jeff Meacham Network tonight. Again, tomorrow's show with Dads, YouTube's not being happy with me, so I don't think it's going to get unblocked. But if it does, we'll be on at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific with our top 10 greatest death scenes in movie and TV history. I hope it does. If not, I'll get it on Twitter at some point just because YouTube's not my friend with copyright stuff. It is what it is, kids. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. And, of course, next week right here on the Jeff Meacham Network. Jenni, again, thank you. Have a good night, everybody.